The stone corridors of Hogwarts are unusually quiet as you hurry toward the Slytherin dungeons, your footsteps echoing softly. The torches flicker, casting long shadows that seem to twist like the unease in your chest. When you reach Regulus's door, it's slightly ajar, unusual for someone so private. Inside, the room is dim, the only light coming from the greenish glow of the lake through the windows. Regulus is sitting on the edge of his bed, his shoulders tense, fingers gripping the edge of the mattress like he's holding on to reality itself. Creature isn't with him, but the absence feels heavier than any presence could. He doesn't turn to face you. His voice is brittle. You shouldn't be here. But he doesn't tell you to leave. The air smells faintly of salt, like the cave, like the lake, like something bitter and unforgiving. Regulus finally looks up to meet your eyes, his own darkened with something you've never seen in him before. I handed Creature over. A muscle jumps in his jaw. He used him, like he was nothing. You step fully into the room, letting the door click shut behind you. The weight of his guilt hangs thick in the air, suffocating. Without a word, you cross the space between you and kneel in front of him, taking his clenched hands in yours. His skin is cold, too cold, like he's been drowning in the memory of that cave. His voice cracks. I didn't know. He cuts himself off, fingers twitching against yours. It doesn't matter. I should have. The lake outside pulses against the glass, a rhythmic, unforgiving reminder. He leans forward, suddenly fierce. He thinks he can do this. To Creature, to anyone, and everyone just follows. His grip tightens, but not enough to hurt, like he's afraid you'll vanish if he lets go. Something dangerous flickers in his eyes. Not rage, worse. Resolve. The silence stretches between you, taut as a bowstring. Regulus exhales sharply through his nose, his breath uneven. Outside, the giant squid drifts past the window, casting shifting shadows across his face, half lit, half drowned in darkness. His voice drops to a whisper. I can't pretend anymore. His thumb traces the back of your hand absently, like he's memorizing the shape of it. Not after this. He reaches into his robes with his free hand and pulls out a crumpled scrap of parchment, a hastily scribbled note, the ink smudged as if gripped too tightly. I wrote it tonight. Creature, he told me where the locket is, where he keeps it. His gaze locks onto yours, fierce and terrified all at once. I'm going back there. The parchment burns against your skin. This isn't just confession, it's a goodbye. Regulus leans in closer, his forehead nearly touching yours. Tell me I'm not mad. But his jaw is set. He's already decided. Your fingers tighten around the parchment instinctively, crumpling it further as dread coils in your stomach. The reality of what he's saying crashes over you. The cave, the inferi, the potion meant to break minds. Regulus wants to walk straight into it. You swallow hard, your throat suddenly dry, your voice barely above a whisper. You can't go alone. Your other hand reaches up, the fingers brushing his cheek, warm against the cold dread settling in his skin. I won't let you. Regulus flinches slightly at your touch, but doesn't pull away. His next breath is ragged, as if he's been holding it for hours, eyes flickering with something like grief. I won't drag you into this. But his hand covers yours, pressing it against his face like a lifeline. Not you. Outside, the torches in the corridor flicker, casting long shadows that stretch toward the door, like something is listening. His voice drops even lower. They'll kill me for this. Not if, when, and if they find out you knew. He cuts himself off, jaw clenching. But the parchment in your grip feels like a promise, a reckoning. Your vision blurs, whether from unshed tears or sheer desperation, you don't know. And you grab the front of his robes, crumpling the fabric in your fists like you can physically anchor him here. Your voice breaks. Then don't go. It's half plea, half demand. You can't go. It's too dangerous. You have to stay. I need you. I need you with me. There has to be another way. We'll tell Dumbledore or... Regulus's hands rise to cradle your face, thumbs brushing away the traitorous dampness beneath your eyes. His touch is tender, but his expression is carved from something unyielding. His voice is soft, resigned. Dumbledore would burn me for the mark on my arm before he'd lift a wand to help. A hollow laugh escapes him. And he'd be right to. You shake your head frantically, but he leans in, pressing his forehead to yours again, his breath mingling with yours. You know I have to. His next words are so quiet they're almost lost. But I'll come back. For you. Lies taste like poison, and yet his fingers tremble against your skin. He wants to believe it too. Outside, the distant chime of the clock tower begins to toll. Regulus pulls back just enough to meet your eyes. Creature will keep you safe. When I don't, he swallows hard. If I don't come back, he'll take you far from here. You both know what he's not saying. There is no if. The parchment in your hand feels heavier than lead. The cave's location. His death warrant. Your grip on his robes tightens, nails biting into the fabric like talons, as if you could stitch him to the very earth to keep him from leaving. Then I'm coming with you, you say fervently, not a question, a vow. Regulus goes rigid, his hands freezing against your face. For a heartbeat, the only sound is the distant drip of water from the lake against the window pane. No. His voice cracks like splintering ice. The cave, the potion. You saw what it did to Creature. I won't let. You cut him off, pressing the crumpled parchment back into his hand and folding his fingers around it with yours. You don't let me do anything. A sharp, breathless laugh. I get to decide that. I get to choose what I do, and I choose you. His breath hitches, eyes widening, pupils dilating with something raw and terrified. Please, baby, no. They'll kill you. And if they don't, if they find out you helped. The torchlight flickers violently, their shadows lashing across the walls like the lurch of your pulse. You lean in, close enough that your lips brush his when you speak. Then we die together. The words hang between you like a curse, like salvation. Regulus makes a wounded sound, crushing you against him so suddenly you gasp. His arms are a vice, his heartbeat erratic against your chest. Regulus's voice is muffled against your hair. I hate you. But he's shaking. Merlin, I hate you. He doesn't let go. The parchment is now clutched in both your hands. A promise. A rebellion. The world narrows to the press of his mouth against yours. Regulus kisses you like he's drowning. Like your air. Desperate, feverish. Like he's trying to carve the memory of you into his bones. His hands fist in your robes, pulling you closer as if he could fuse you together. Erase the inches between you and the looming abyss of the cave. The parchment slips from your joined grip, fluttering to the floor between your knees, forgotten for these stolen seconds. When he finally pulls back, his breath ragged, his lips are slightly parted, his eyes dark with something between fury and devotion. You're impossible. His thumb brushes your lower lip, lingering. And I... He cuts himself off, jaw tightening, but the unspoken words hang between you, louder than any confession. I love you, and that's why I can't lose you. The silence stretches, thick with everything unsaid, until Creature materializes with a soft pop, his bulbous eyes wide with panic. Creature wrings his hands. Master Regulus, Creature must warn you, they are coming. The Dark Lord is suspicious. Creature hears them whispering. Regulus goes deathly still. Then, with startling gentleness, he presses one last kiss to your forehead. Quick, reverent. Please forgive me, love. He whispers his last words to you, before straightening, his expression hardening into resolve. To Creature. Take her to the come-and-go room now. His gaze flicks to you, final and fierce. And before you can protest, Creature's gnarled fingers seize your wrist. The world twists. And you're gone. The last thing you see is Regulus snatching up the parchment, his face etched in shadow and firelight. Then, nothing. The room of requirement shifts around you, molding itself into a small, dimly lit space. Walls lined with bookshelves, a roaring fire flickering in the hearth. The scent of old parchment and cedar fills the air, but it does nothing to soothe the frantic hammering of your heart. No, you scream. No, I was supposed to go with him. You begin to cry. Of course he was never going to let you risk yourself. Of course he would make sure you were safe. Creature wrings his hands anxiously, his large ears twitching at every distant sound from beyond the enchanted walls. Creature whispers urgently. Miss must stay hidden. Master Regulus commanded it. You press your palm against the cool stone wall, imagining you can feel the castle's pulse. Or perhaps it's just your own, wild and unsteady. The parchment's ink may as well be seared into your mind. The cave, the locket, the nightmare waiting for him. The firelight casts writhing shadows. One moment a serpent, the next a hollow-eyed face. Your voice is steel, despite the tremor beneath. Please, you need to take me to him. Creature's eyes glisten with unshed tears. He doesn't answer, his gnarled fingers twitching at his sides as his large, mournful eyes dart between you and the door. The weight of Regulus' command presses down on him, but your desperation hangs thick in the air like a storm. You, pleading, voice raw. Creature, please. You know what waits for him in that cave. You saw it. If he doesn't have help. The elf's ears droop, his hunched frame trembling with conflict. Master Regulus commands creature must keep miss safe. Creature cannot, must not disobey. His fists clench at his sides, knuckles white. Creature barely audible, but creature must go back, for Master Regulus. His eyes lift to yours, gleaming with sudden resolve. Miss must promise creature to stay. The air grows heavier, charged with silent understanding. If creature leaves now, he might reach Regulus in time, but you will be alone with no way to follow. The fire pops, sending embers spiraling toward the ceiling like dying stars. Your voice is soft, broken. Bring him back to me. Creature bows his head, deep, solemn, before vanishing with a sharp crack. The silence that follows is suffocating. You sink to your knees, fingers pressing into the cold stone floor as if you could claw your way through the castle itself to reach him. Far away, the lake's waves crash against the cliffs. Somewhere beneath them, a boy with black family steel in his veins drinks poison meant for kings. And the clock ticks on. The room of requirement seems to grow colder despite the fire's persistent crackle. The ancient stones of Hogwarts hum with latent magic, but tonight they feel hollow, deaf to your silent screaming. Your hands fist in the fabric of your robes as you stare at the spot where creature disappeared. The walls shift imperceptibly, shelves sliding aside to reveal a single window that shouldn't exist. One that looks out across the darkened grounds, toward the forbidden forest. The black lake glints malevolently in the moonlight. A sudden searing pain lances through your left palm. You look down to find your skin blistering, the shape of a constellation burning itself into your flesh. Orion's belt. The black family sigil. You gasp. Regulus. The mark pulses once, twice, then goes dark. Not healed, extinguished. The fire dies with a whisper. Somewhere in the castle a portrait begins to wail. The stones beneath your knees tremble as if the very castle knows what you refuse to accept. But when you press your burning palm to your lips, the taste is salt. Not lake water. Tears. The room of requirement shudders around you, shelves warping as the walls contract like a great beast holding its breath. The black family ring you'd slipped onto your finger months ago, Regulus' silent vow, suddenly scorches your skin, its obzy stone cracking down the center with a sound like breaking bones. Through the enchanted window, the black lake's surface convulses violently. White froth crests against the shore as if something enormous has plunged beneath its depths. Stillness. The portrait of Phineas Nigellus Black materializes abruptly in the frame above the fireplace, his face ashen, his voice hoarse, as though dragged from sleep. The tapestry in grim old place. His painted eyes dart to your hand, to the ruined ring, and understanding dawns, horrified. Oh, you foolish boy. A gust of wind howls through the room despite there being no windows left open. The fire reignites in a burst of emerald flames, casting ghastly shadows that twist into familiar shapes. A locket, a skeletal hand, a crown of waterlogged laurels. Your breath comes in shallow gasps as your gaze locks onto the broken ring. Its magic, his magic, doesn't just fade, it unravels, and the castle begins to mourn. Somewhere far away, a house elf wails in a blood-stained cave. Somewhere closer, Walburga Black's portrait starts screaming. Here, in this room that no longer remembers how to comfort you, there is only the awful, endless silence of a constellation blinking out one star at a time. You press your forehead to the cold floor, the shattered ring cutting into your palm. The wound doesn't bleed, it weeps. The room's enchantments dissolve around you like mist. Bookshelves melting back into stone, the false window sealing shut with finality. Even Hogwarts knows when to stop pretending. Your breath fogs in the sudden chill as something wet seeps through your knees. Not water, but ink, black and endless, spreading from between the floor stones. The castle's own tears. A whisper slithers through the cracks in the walls. Regulus Arcturus Black. The syllables curl like smoke taking shape above the cold hearth. A date in flickering silver. June 25, 1961 to December 31, 1979. The numbers hover for 3 heartbeats before scattering like dead leaves. When you press your bleeding palm flat against the stones, the castle shudders, and for one impossible moment, you swear you feel distant heartbeat beneath your fingers. 2 pulses, then none. The pool of ink swirls violently, forming words that etch themselves into the stone floor with terrible permanence. The noble and most ancient House of Black mourns the loss of Regulus Arcturus Black, heir to the Black family legacy. The letters gleam wet and fresh as newly spilled blood before slowly fading, leaving only the ghost of their impression behind. A sudden wind howls through the chamber. In the suffocating darkness, the scent of salt water and dank cave walls overwhelms your senses. Somewhere in the distance, muffled by layers of stone and magic, comes the unmistakable sound of a splash, then silence. Your trembling fingers find the broken ring still clenched in your palm. The metal is freezing now, colder than the Black Lake in midwinter. When you open your hand, the shattered pieces have fused back together, but the Obsi stone now shows a different constellation. Orion, missing his brightest star. The ring's transformation completes with a sound like cracking ice. Where the Obsi stone once bore the proud Black family crest, it now shows Orion's constellation, his outstretched arm forever reaching toward empty space where his brightest star should shine. The metal burns with unnatural cold against your skin like the deepest depths of the cave where... No. You refuse to think it. Refuse to let the ink and the whispers and the castle's mourning make it real. Your fingers tighten around the ring until its edges bite into your flesh. The door to the room of requirement creaks open without warning. A gust of damp air carries the scent of lake water and something metallic. The torches flare back to life, revealing Creature. The house elf stands trembling in the doorway, his tea towel stained crimson, his enormous eyes brimming with tears. His gnarled hands clutch something that makes your breath stop. A locket. Not just any locket, this one pulses with malignant energy, its golden surface marred by an ornate S that seems to bleed shadow. But it's what hangs from the chain that makes your heart stop. A single silver ring, Regulus's other heirloom. Creature's voice cracks as he shuffles forward, the locket's chain rattling like bones in his grip. Creature, whispering, Master Regulus. He gave Creature orders. The elf's whole body shakes as he extends the locket toward you. To destroy it, to protect you. His free hand presses against his chest, where something glints beneath his ragged pillowcase tunic. Regulus's watch, its hands frozen at midnight. The ring in your palm burns colder than ever. Your fingers close around the ring first, its familiar weight both comforting and agonizing. The metal hums faintly with residual magic, as if holding on to the last echoes of Regulus's touch. Your other hand takes the locket. A searing pain shoots up your arm, but you hold on tighter, refusing to let go. Creature's gnarled fingers press a folded letter into your palm, the parchment worn soft at the edges from being clutched too tightly. The Black family crest is stamped in wax, still slightly warm, as if sealed moments ago rather than hours. You unfold it with trembling hands. The ink is smudged in places, whether from lake water or something else you can't tell. My love, if you're reading this, I failed, but so did he. The locket is poison. It must be destroyed, not just broken, but unmade. Creature knows how. And you must live. Not for vengeance, not for me. Live because the world is still worth fighting for. Live because I loved you. And when you're free, when all of this is over, find the stars. I'll be waiting. R.A.B. The parchment trembles in your grip. Beneath his signature, pressed into the page, is the faint imprint of his lips. One final kiss, sealed in ink rather than magic. Creature wipes his bulbous eyes with the edge of his tunic, then straightens with a determination that belies his small frame. Master Regulus left instructions. Creature knows how to destroy the locket. His knobby fingers twitch toward the vile thing in your hand. But Miss must be careful. It will try to trick her. It will lie. The locket pulses once, as if sensing its fate. The room darkens momentarily, shadows stretching unnaturally toward you. Outside, the first light of dawn creeps across the Black Lake, pale and fragile but unbroken. The war isn't over, but neither are you.